Hello. So I am mood reading, I think for the, don't mind that, much better. Anyway, I was saying I think I'm gonna be mood reading for the next little bit because if I'm being completely honest, I feel like the last few months, like maybe 2-3 months, I have been very disciplined with following my little predetermined like monthly TBR that I pick every month using my TBR jar, which is up there. So that's a good thing and I love that, and I am actually very surprised that I have been able to like kind of stick by that because I very much am a mood reader. I feel like I like to switch genres often, I like to switch the pacing of my books often, and I just like to reach for things that I'm feeling in the moment. I don't like knowing like the next 4 books that I'm gonna read, but like I mentioned, the last few months I have been doing that. So I think I'm just kind of craving a little bit of difference for right now in this moment. I do still really want to read the books that I did pick for my August TBR because they are amazing. Some of the ones on here have been on my TBR for a very long time. I don't know if this is all of them. I think I might be missing like 1 or 2. Yeah, I think I'm missing 2 of them, but these are the other 4. Yours truly, I definitely want to get to. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna has been really far high up on my TBR for a while now, so I definitely would want to prioritize this. And then these 2 are also on my TBR, have been on my cart for a while, so it would be great to kind of knock these out as well. But with that being said, I have already picked up 2 different books that are not on my August TBR, and I have started reading those. So let me just catch you guys up. I started Thrive by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I think this is book 7 in the Addicted series. This one focuses on Lily and Lo, and this is a 2-year period while Kiss the Sky and Hot House Flower were going on, if that makes sense. Kiss the Sky is from Rose Calloway's point of view. Hot House Flower is from Daisy Calloway's point of view. They're all sisters, so we have 3 different points of view of the same time frame basically, which is really interesting. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think this is book 6. So this is Lily and Lo's perspective. Very excited to be back in their perspective basically because like I mentioned, the last 2 books have not been in their point of view. Very interested. I started this maybe 2 days ago. I'm on page 92. So really haven't made quite a big dent in it at all, but I think I want to finish this series this year. And at the rate I'm at, I definitely can, but I also don't want to finish it too quickly because I want to savor it, process it, and take my time because I know it's over. Like once I finish book 10 or book 11, like it's over. So I also want to take my time, and that's why I haven't actually read an Addicted series book in maybe like 2 months or 3. So it's been a minute. Very excited to be back in this little world. Just gonna be picking these up more often, but at the same time maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, just because I do want to savor them. But I am going to be annotating this one. I put 3 little tabs here for Lo, just a heart for like their love, and Lily. And so I have only a few tabs because again, I just started this. But I only started annotating this series from the last book, which was Hot House Flower, which was in Daisy's point of view. So I do want to annotate the series moving forward. So that's kind of why I started to tab this one. Very excited to read this. Definitely want to take my time with it and savor it, like I mentioned, because this is definitely one of my favorite series of all time. The next book that I picked up actually just yesterday, so again, very new to it. It is called The Last House on the Street by Diane Chamberlain. I've only ever read 1 other book by this author, and I have it somewhere back there, but I don't really want to go and pick it up. I guess she's like a very well-known author. These are all her other books that she's written, and the one that I read was Big Lies in a Small Town, and I think one of my best friends gifted that to me for my birthday, so I didn't pick it out for myself, but I remember it took me a minute to read it because I had never heard of the author and whatnot, but once I did pick it up, I really enjoyed it. All I remember is it's about this like woman, her name is Millie or something like that, and she's like an ex-con, but she gets this like preposition to get out of jail by restoring this huge art mural, and she of course says yes. But then she goes to the town where this mural is like originally from, trying to find the author because I think the author's identity is like hidden. And it's kind of like a thriller. It's not super fast paced, but it's more of like a fiction book, it's a historical fiction book with thrilling elements because it's definitely like what's going on. Like there's secrets, you know there's secrets. It's a bit mysterious as well. But yeah, those are the vibes that I got from that first book, and these are definitely the same vibes that I'm getting from this book. And what I've noticed so far in the first book, it definitely was also sort of like prejudices and racism is a topic in these books. At least it was in the first one, and already starting this one, I'm on page 38, like you can already tell. And this one's also two POV. I think the first book was also two POVs of two different women in two different time frames, and so is this one. So I'm interested to see if that's like common in this author's works. I'm not going to talk too much about this one just yet because like I mentioned, I'm only like 30 pages in, so I'll wait till I'm a little bit further to give you guys more of like insight on this one. But I just wanted to kind of get you guys up and say I'm basically going to be mood reading for a bit because I've just missed it. I'm going back to my roots. Oh, and side note, earlier today I was actually driving and I literally started Never Lie by Frida McFadden, who's like a pretty well-known like thriller mystery author, and I literally only listened to the first chapter, and I think I'm gonna shelve it for now and pick it up back in like maybe October, fall, winter, because it was just heavy on those vibes. And I'm like, okay, it's still August, summer is in full swing, but also like on its way out, so I want to prioritize more like beachy reads basically. So I think I want to do, especially come like the fall time, like a whole week reading only thriller books, and that one is probably going to be one that I read along with other, maybe a Stephen King book. I've never read a Stephen King book and I definitely want to. So yeah, maybe that's in the future, but I think I'm gonna shelve Never Lie for now and start a different audiobook. It would be my best interest to literally start like one of these books that's on my August TBR. But I think The Nightingale I want to read physically. Yours Truly I also want to read physically. I don't even know if all these books have audiobooks. Like, is that a thing? Does every single book have an audiobook? I'm not too sure. I'm also reading A Storm of Swords, which is the third Game of Thrones book, and I really haven't made much progress. I'm only like 4% through it, and it's a pretty long book, so I figured maybe I could read that one via audiobook and like just make some progress with that series. I'm not too sure. I'm still thinking about it. I might just start some other random one that occurs to me because like I said, I am trying to prioritize mood reading and just see what reads are calling my name. Okay, so basically I'm a little bit further into this book, The Last House on the Street, about 100 pages in, 121-ish, and I'm really eating this up. It's like such a good like medium paced book with like, I'm telling you, mystery, thriller, two POVs of two women who are, you can already tell there's like things in the works for, they're gonna end up like, just there's gonna be some big fallout or like big secrets unveiled. But I love the pace that this is at. This is about one of the women, her name is Ellie, and she is basically joining this group. It's called Scope, and their goal is to register like Black Americans in the North, because this is during a time where there's obviously very prevalent racism. The KKK is mentioned in this, and so she's a white woman, but she wants to do this because she thinks it's unfair that they are not allowed to vote, and there's just so many obstacles for them to vote. So they just kind of she's joining this organization to go out and educate voters, potential voters, and register them to vote. And I love that. I love the glimpse of her life and what she's doing. And I already know they're gonna run into crazy obstacles. And the other POV is of this woman named Kayla who built a brand new house in these estates where Ellie's family used to live, actually, like back in the day in her timeline, if this makes sense. But Kayla, actually, she and her husband built this house together so that they could move into it, but her husband tragically died literally in the house because of like a construction accident. So yeah, it's just very fascinating, and I just love it. I can already tell that this author is like amazing, and I'm gonna want to continue reading her work. And then on another note, I'm actually really excited about this. I got together with some of my friends like a few nights ago, and we decided we want to do a little book club because obviously I love to read, but they also are like pretty avid readers. So we decided we're gonna start a book club, which I'm so excited about. I've never been a part of a book club, and it just sounds so fun. So we actually chose our little book that we want to read, and I think we're gonna get together towards the beginning of next month. I think, yeah, I think we set a date for like the first weekend in September. So we're gonna start our book, and it is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I've had this book for a while because I think this came out last year. Haven't read it. I've read 2 other Ali Hazelwood books, which were these 2 right here, The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. And I do like her works. I think they're good. They're like a good romance, and I've been wanting to read this for the longest time. It's been on my TBR for quite a while. I was actually going to definitely prioritize this for the fall time because I just want to get it off my TBR, but now I have the perfect excuse to read it. So maybe I will start this book in this video. I'm not too sure. Like I mentioned, do want to do mood reading, and this one does seem very interesting and like something I do want to pick up. But I just wanted to mention it because of course it's like bookish news, and I'm really excited about that, and hopefully in the future I can show you guys more about that book club. Again, hopefully we even meet at the end of or at the beginning of next month. I guess you'll see, but I guess that's something to look forward to. So still currently reading The Last House on the Street, but I'm now on page 260, and that is about 60 something% through the book. I'm looking at my Goodreads now. 67% through the book. I do update Goodreads regularly, like especially while I'm reading the book, just because I like to know like how far and how much progress I'm making in my reads. And I usually am reading more than one book at a time, so I just like to track like just my current reads. So yeah, if you guys ever want to know like what I'm reading or how far I'm into books and whatnot, definitely check out my Goodreads. It's always linked below if you're interested. But I am obsessed with this book. Like the pacing, I think I've mentioned this like a million times, is so good. But I don't know if I mentioned earlier in this book, I mean in this video, I am mood reading, but this one actually did happen to be on my August TBR. Like I forgot what prompt this was that I picked for my like TBR jar video. But this book is actually on my August TBR, so if all else fails this month, at least this book will have been read, and I will have read at least one book on my TBR. I've honestly been putting all of my energy and attention towards this book, so I haven't really made too much progress in Thrive, which is the addicted book that I'm currently reading, but I'm almost done with this one, and again, I just love it. Absolutely recommend. I haven't even like read the ending yet, but I just know it's gonna be so good, so check out this author's books if you never have heard of her. I really just got lucky by discovering her thanks to my friend gifting me her other book, but so good. This is the other book, by the way, that I keep mentioning, Big Lies in a Small Town, and very, very good. Now these 2 books, awesome. They're like historical fiction with thriller mystery, so if that sounds remotely interesting to you, then pick these books up because they're good. Another update coming your way. So I ended up finishing The Last House on the Street last night. Sorry, I can like hear my laundry, so if you're hearing that, just tune that out. But anyway, I finished this last night. I gave it 4.75 stars, which is my first ever 4.75, and the reason I didn't give it 5 stars was because I feel like the end wrapped up a little too quickly for my liking. Like I mentioned, this was kind of like a mystery thriller, so obviously like secrets and drama unfolded in the 3rd act, and I just wish we had more time to kind of deal with the consequences, to kind of explore that a little bit more, like the fallout. So if this was maybe like even 20 pages longer, I would have very much appreciated that and probably would have been a 5 stars. Regardless, 4.75 is a phenomenal rating, and I absolutely recommend this book. I know I'm going to be thinking about this for a while, and it was just so good that I hope everybody picks it up because it just was so good. But anyway, that's the second book that I've actually read in August. The first one was The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, which was before this video, so I'm not going to talk about that book. This is the second one, and now I'm currently reading 4 books. So I am reading Thrive, the Addicted series. I just picked up Wildfire by Hannah Grace this morning. I'm reading A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, which is the 3rd book in the Game of Thrones series. That one's via Kindle, and I actually ended up listening to Never Lie by Frida McFadden via audiobook. I talked about that earlier in this video, how I was like unsure if I wanted to listen to that video or to that book because I wanted to save it more for like Halloween time or fall time, but I just literally spent like 10 minutes looking through the audiobook selections on Spotify, and I'm just not in the mood right now for a memoir because the last one that I read was pretty heavy and I just need some time away from that. So I couldn't decide like what I did want to listen to, and I was like, you know what, I do want to listen to Never Lies, so let me just listen to it. And then of course there's tons more thrillers out there that I can definitely feature in a future video in like the fall time. So I'm actually about 30% through Never Lie, and I actually really like it. It's reminding me a lot of Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I read that one earlier this year, a few months ago, and it's giving that. So if you enjoyed that book, then I feel like you would like Never Lie, or vice versa. If you liked Never Lie, you would like Rock, Paper, Scissors, because it's all about like being stranded in a home when there's like a freaking blizzard outside and there's like people that I don't know, you're just like starting not to trust people. So definitely recommend that. Again, only 30% in, so it's still pretty new, but I'm actively listening to that like while I'm driving or while I'm working, literally working from home. I'm just like listening to it. But other than that, I did start this morning, Wildfire by Hannah Grace, because Daydream, which is the third book in the Maple Hills series, comes out literally in like 2 weeks, and I don't want to get too far behind in this series. I've had this book for a while and I've been wanting to read it, and it is on my August TBR, so I was like, okay, this is like the perfect book for me to read right now, and I am in the mood for this type of like summer romance fling. I love books that are centered on like summer camp. I just love that idea. I love the activities that they do. I love the like forced proximity. It's one of my favorite like tropes or settings in a book, so definitely excited to be reading this. And I definitely feel like I'm steering away from being in a book slump thanks to my mood reading, because I'm just picking up books that I actively want to read. So huge tip for you, if you ever feel like you're like in a book slump, don't really know what to read, you have books on your TBR, avoid that. Just grab a book that's literally calling your attention, that you want to read, that you know would be a good fit for you, because sometimes I pick up books just because they're popular or because they're like very highly rated, but they're not necessarily books that I would pick up if I just walked into a bookstore and saw them. So even doing that, going into a bookstore, picking up a book that has an amazing cover that you think you'll like, reading the synopsis on the back and it's calling your attention, definitely do that. And sometimes prioritize that over like your TBR reads, honestly, because reading is it's just a hobby that you want to enjoy, right? It just should never feel like a job or like something like, oh, I have to get these books off my TBR. Obviously that's a goal for a lot of us, but sometimes it can be unrealistic to just focus on those books and remain happy and satisfied. So sorry about this long rant, but basically I'm trying to avoid a book slump. I don't want to be in a book slump, so I'm picking up books that I think are gonna make me happy. Sure, this one is actually on my August TBR, but like the earlier books in this video, like Thrive, that book is not on my TBR, and I'm still reading that one because I actively want to continue that series. I'm actually kind of really thinking about Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates right now, so maybe I'll pick up Daisy Hates, I don't know. I do have my hands a little bit full with 4 books at the moment, so I'm gonna try to read and finish like at least 2 of these before picking up a third or like a new one. That's kind of the goal for right now, but I just wanted to make this little video to show you guys that mood reading is okay, it's fun, and I actually recommend it because in some instances it is more beneficial for you to just mood read and do what you want to do, you know? So thank you guys for watching. I think I'm gonna finish it here just because, let me keep the lighting here, just because, I don't know, I want to get this video up and I feel like I did my deed. I finished a book. I'm still actively in the middle of a few other ones, but I'm not going to finish those probably in the next day or 2. So I'd rather just finish this video, put it up, and then you guys can join me when I pick up the next video or the camera for the next video. I don't know what my next video is going to be, but I guess you'll just see. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!